Hey, Jules Bless Vegan, and welcome to week 42 of our 45-week countdown to the best version of ourselves in the new year. If you're new, you are right on time. There is never a better time than now than to choose wellness, and I hope that we can be part of the support in getting you there. So this past week was a gigantic challenge for me. It's kind of an understatement of the year. I mean, honestly, Monday, okay, I cheered in week 43. And Tuesday, I found out a precious friend of ours died. And on Wednesday, I lost my job. And then on Friday, I found out a situation with one of our family members that I was very sorry for. And it did affect us. And I was just like, oh my goodness. And then finally, Saturday, my dog lovingly brought in trophies of 7 dead baby bunny rabbits. I don't know if the dog actually killed them or if the mother abandoned them in their den or whatever it was, but I was dealing with 7 dead bunnies, and God, it was like a lot. And then on Saturday, we drove, 400 miles to see family, and because of traffic, it was 8.5 hours in traffic, and it was just like a really big week. So here I am starting a fresh new week, but I always have to, reflect on the week before. So what I was realizing is I just cannot even begin to deal with the weighing in. Okay. I wanted to be accountable and weigh in, but I'm going to have to be accountable in other ways. I mean, first of all, if I really am working my plan, my body will have no choice but to release weight. And so I'm going to have to, accept that. But one way that I was realizing it, of course, is how my clothes fit, right? And I can't always trust that because from day to day, sometimes the body can retain water for various reasons. And so I can't really always trust that. But I have this leather belt, and it was like so tight on me that honestly, I couldn't even get the very first hole. I was like contemplating putting another hole in it just so I could even wear the belt. And now the belt is so big, 7 holes later, that I had to get a different belt. And so, that was a really good sign. And I mean, like, that's a reflection of my process. Certainly not in this past week, but just the whole process. And what I was really reflecting on, and I always talk about Tanny Raw, and she's just like a total phenom in the vegan and raw vegan movement in particular. You can find her on any social media platform. But a couple of Tanny-isms, I call them. A couple of the Tanny-isms, one of them would be thinking about habit stacking. And again, if you just put in Tanny Raw in any social media, you can just put the topic. So you can put habit stacking, it'll come up. The other one is making a plan, it'll come up. And she'll tell you about that. So what I was thinking, those were the two things. If you have a strong foundation with a plan, because she always says how, life may get in the way, but a plan is non-biased. A plan is super consistent, and it's always there for you. When you can't even think straight, your plan is there. And the same thing with the habit stacking. The more you do something right, the stronger you get. And, initially when we do things, it's considered primary. But after we've been doing it a while, it becomes secondary because we don't have to consciously think about it anymore. And that's the thing with habit stacking. If you've done it enough, it just becomes part of your routine, and you don't really have to spend a lot of mental energy on it. You always have to do the prep work, but you don't have to spend the mental energy per se. So that's kind of what came to mind this week. I didn't do it perfectly. I didn't. Another thing that Tanny always talks about is journaling, and how our journals have different parts of the target. So there's one that you do every single time. There's some that you do sometimes, and there's some that you do never. And I definitely refer to some of my sometimes this week. I allowed myself some of my sometimes because I just either couldn't think straight, or I was totally over emotional, or whatever it was. And I had to consider using some of my sometimes, and that was okay. So Here are the two things. One, I'm not going to be weighing myself. I don't know when I'll weigh myself. I'll certainly weigh myself by the end of the year, but I hope that that's such an obvious, dramatic change that we won't even be overly concerned with that. But I just can't handle the stress of it. It just freaks me out. And another thing is I just want to commit to not being afraid to not eat as much food. And I just say that because somehow I will pre-decide, and it's part of my plan. I have my boxes and I have my, amount of food and things that I'm going to eat. But I still am almost afraid not to eat it all. There's no way I'm going to starve. There's no way there won't be food tomorrow. But I literally just get it in my craw, if you will, that I have to. It probably goes back to you better eat everything on your plate. It probably really does go back to that. Like, that's what's coming to me right now. That even in the midst of it, I mean, like even just a minute ago, seriously, I didn't get to eat my lunch until school was over for so many reasons. I am on the edge. And even right now, I'm trying to rush home to work on an application for a district. But I had oranges and grapefruits, and I didn't eat them all. And I was partway through and I was thinking, am I even hungry? Like, am I still hungry? Because I'm super tired. I didn't go to bed until 2:00. It was about 2:15 because I was trying to get another project done. And of course, my perfectionism kicked in, around 11:30, and all of a sudden nothing was good enough. And I was going to redo it. And my husband kept saying, Juliana, come to bed. And I was like, leave me alone. I'll come to bed when I'm done. But he knows that my done will never be done because I get in perfection mode and I was crazed. And God, I just can't even explain it. I just get meticulous and everything, it has to be redone. And anyway, whatever. And the more tired I get, the slower I go anyway. And all of a sudden it was after 2 a.m. So, I was just, forgetting what I was going to say. I forgot what I was going to say about that. All right. Well, let's just chalk that up to tired and needing to get home. But it doesn't matter. I think you guys got the gist of it. So I'm not going to weigh myself. It is too insane. It's too much pressure for me. I'm done with that. And I'm going to try and have the courage to not eat all of my pre-planned food. I'm going to try and find a way to do that because it's the same discomfort that would come with binging or anything else. All right, so where are you at, people? Week 42. What? Yeah, it's coming. Have you even made a long-term plan for the new year? This is the long-term plan. People who wanted a short-term plan, hey, we're just starting our second week of Lent. Officially, Wednesday will be the second week of Lent. If you just wanted that 40-day plan, you are right on time for that one. So you might want to just look at your 40-day plan. Whatever the case is, it's important to have goals. It's important to make them measurable and to keep them in perspective so that we can celebrate and even make them achievable. So love you. Sharing the message below so I can support you. Like if you like. Join us if you haven't. And until we talk again, be blessed.